Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here riding solo for this one as Jimmy is in the skies right now, hopefully traveling safely back to Baltimore. So absolutely safe travels to Jimbo. But DK is with me in the background, thank goodness, as I try and get through this one all by myself. But this is a joyous occasion. This is the first post-game show officially of the 2022 season. And it's a win as the Ravens continue their preseason dominance, extending their preseason win streak to, I believe, 21 consecutive games, beating the Tennessee Titans 23-10 in what is just normal, dominant fashion of Baltimore Ravens in the preseason. And we have a ton to talk about. There's a bunch of veterans that, of course, sat this one out, most of which were expected. But there may have been a surprise or two, but still a ton to talk about with the young guys and some older veterans that are trying to prove their worth and continue their dreams of playing in the league. And this was a fun game to watch, a game that got me excited. I took so many notes because I'm just so hyped for this game. Just can't. There he is, Jimbo in the in the comment section. Appreciate the support. Mucho Mango, appreciate you coming out. Marco G, always in the chat. Appreciate your support. What's up, Laney? Appreciate you checking in. Intern Brad, yes, the streak is alive, no doubt about it. But let's get into some of the game totals for both teams before we start diving deep into some notes and some statistics just as a team. So, of course, the Ravens win 23-10. The Ravens had 19 first downs to the Titans 15. Let's see, total yards. The Ravens had 388 total yards to the Titans 299. Both had 11 total drives on the day. The Ravens had 129 on the ground to the Titans 103. And then, of course, in the air, the Ravens had 259 yards to the Titans 196. So pretty much dominant in every facet as far as yardage gained. Looks like penalties, not a bit of a sloppy game for both teams. Ravens had 6 penalties for 54 yards, while the Titans 5 for 35. But certainly won the turnover battle, with the Ravens only having the one turnover to the Titans 3. So, and again, no surprise here. The Ravens dominated time possession, holding the ball for over 35 minutes, whereas the Titans were able to hang on to it for 24 and a half. So, yeah, this was a game that was certainly fun to watch. And when we talked about the game leading up to, we mentioned a few players that we thought would be kind of a focus on this game, players that we feel like needed to show up, need to play well. We're going to be expected to either have a big role this year or on that kind of roster bubble. And so let's get into some of the notes. And as I go through the notes, of course, we're going to talk about pause and go over stats and get your guys' take. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, holding it down solo this time. But yeah, let's just get right into the game. I wanted to first start by talking about the offensive line. We finally saw the group that started the game. A lot of change throughout the game, but the group as it started was Juwan James at left tackle, Tyree Phillips at left guard, Patrick McCary at center, Benjamin Powers at right guard, and Daniel Fa'alele on the right tackle side. And, of course, Mike Davis gets to start at running back. Bit of a surprise there. I was thinking we'd see a little bit more of Justice Hill and Beatty early, but Davis gets the start, the veteran. But I guess if he's going to be a part of this roster going forward, he's got to get acclimated with the playbook, and maybe they feel the preseason's a good way to do that. So let's get into it. I want to start, if it's okay with everyone here, I want to start with the offensive line because I just got done introducing them, and I gotta talk about my guy Juwan James. There's a lot of concern over the left tackle spot with the uncertainty surrounding Ronnie Stanley. When will he be back? What condition will he be in when he comes back? Is this a situation where Ronnie can return to all-pro form, or will he be a shell of his former self? You know, that's kind of a big unknown there. And, of course, the left tackle spot being very important. I feel a bit of relief. I want to know what you guys think, because what I saw was Juwan James looked ultra impressive for a guy who has not played in 2 years and who has never played the left tackle position any higher than high school. I was impressed. And there was a couple plays that I looked to where I, kind of saw what they were seeing in Juwan James and why they brought him in. There was a play where they ran the quarterback power to Huntley to pick up a 4th and 2, and they pulled not just Juwan James but also the left guard Tyree Phillips, and both showed why that they are, hopefully the guys that the coaches can put in the starting spot, because they're just athletic. They can move really well. Juwan James did a great job coming all the way from the left tackle side to be the lead guy and get up to the second level. On the right-hand side, it was very impressive. And Phillips as well. Phillips, I think, played really well at the left guard spot. To me, I really hope that he wins that spot, stays. And I think if he stays healthy, he will. Powers got to start at right guard simply because we know that the veteran, I see his face. Zeitler is not getting this start. So, what's up, Black Daniels? What's going on, Purple and Black? Tanja Bowman, appreciate you guys coming out. Tom Votto, appreciate you coming out as well. Let's see here. Oh boy, let's see. Okay. All right. Sorry, they got distracted by the chats there, but overall, a great performance by the offensive line. I thought Daniel Faalele played fantastic at right tackle. Makari, of course, as expected. I was a little surprised to see him getting so many looks at center and not an earlier look at Tristan Colon, but of course, liked what I saw from Patrick McCary. But all right, let's move on to some of the more exciting spots because I got to talk about my guy, Isaiah Likely. This guy, we talked about him leading into the show. This is a guy who's expected to have a huge role in this offense. And I talked about, I want this to be a game where he builds confidence and doesn't lose confidence. If he's had such a big camp that, eventually you start to becoming a victim of your own success in a way that the pressure starts to build, expectations start to change. And already I think they were for Isaiah Likely. And so I was, nervous, like what happens if he comes in this game and maybe has an early drop and has some confidence shaking. You just never know when it's a rookie going into his first preseason game. But oh my goodness, the dude was impressive, man. I mean, the dude was absolutely impressive. And I know DK has a couple clips here kind of on deck here to show just a couple of his fantastic plays. The guy was absolutely everywhere. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what he did as a total. Let's see here. He had, come on, box score. Here we go. He had 4 catches for 44 yards, including a 22-yarder. But DK, if you're ready, if you want to throw up at least the first play that you got here, kind of loaded in the background. Here we go. So as you can see, this is an important 2nd and short. I don't see many tight ends that are juking 3 defenders to pick up the first down. So while that was a short play, as you can see, he caught the ball about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, juked the safety completely out of his jock. It was either safety or corner, and turned a what could have very likely been a negative play into a first down. I mean, look at for a tight end, the moves on him, it was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that was just one, however, of his highlight reel throws or plays, I should say, because later on he followed that. Let's see. I think DK is going to try and pull that up now. Followed that up with a even more fantastic and spectacular catch when he was riding up the seam. Got a linebacker chasing underneath, trying to play some catch up. And he not only catches the ball, but he catches the defender's arm at the same time. And fantastic. Come on now. Somebody's trying to be on fry time on Joseph. Come on now. This ain't no comb over. Comb over's when you're bald. I ain't bald, Joseph. Don't do me like that, man. I got baldness on one side of the family, man, but the other side is strong. So right now, I think I'm looking okay here. But DK, you got that play? Here we go. Okay, here's the play. As you can see, running up the numbers, just defenders all around him, including the linebacker who's not in terrible position, but it just doesn't matter. Isaiah Likely goes up and catches the ball and the arm of the defender and doesn't let it get pulled away. A lot of guys might get their hands on the ball, but they don't come down with and ultimately make the catch. I mean, that's showing me something from a rookie. This guy doesn't even have his grown man strength yet. And look at him out there making plays. Imagine him opposite. He's going to be opposite Mark Andrews. So just imagine the coverages he's going to be getting because you have to respect, of course, what Mark Andrews does for this team being the all-pro that he is. That got me excited. I can't lie. And, of course, throwing him the ball, I want to start talking about Tyler Huntley before I get into probably the star of the game. And I think all of you know who I'm talking to, who really got me excited on the outside. But we got to spend a little bit of time talking about who was getting those guys the ball. Tyler Huntley looked fantastic. 16 of 18 from the field, 109 yards and a touchdown. Did get sacked one time, but also added 3 carries in the run game for an additional 17 yards. The guy was sharp all night, divvying the ball up to receivers all over the field. Ultra impressive. And so my question for the chat is, do you think that any team looks at Tyler Huntley as a guy that not only could compete for the starting spot, on their roster, but also could be a franchise quarterback? That's the question. Now, this is just a preseason game, and he did go 0 for 6 down the stretch last year. So I'm not, crazy, but I'm saying this, but I just think he's at very least a very, very high-end backup, and he's perfect for this team. The question is, does a team believe in him enough to give him more compensation than he's worth to the Ravens as the backup? That kind of remains to be seen. But you got to tip the cap to him. Played fantastic tonight, better than he's looked all camp, which is a lot of people have pointed out. Not that he's looked bad at camp, but he just looked so crisp. And the same can be said for Anthony Brown. I thought he played fantastic. 10 of 15 from the field, 117 yards. For being an undrafted rookie, you got to tip the cap to him as well. I thought he played very, very well. Added some rushing yards here and there, 2 for 14. Got to give credit to him as well. I thought he played well on the offensive side. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball because I've been talking a lot of offense. Pepe Williams, the dude was balling tonight. He's not the biggest guy, but, I'm starting to buy into the fact that the coaches, when they said he might have the biggest heart out there, the dude is impressive, man. He's everywhere. He was checking a lot of boxes. He had a great punt return in the third or fourth quarter. Let's see, for about 23 yards, I want to say 20, might have been 21 yards. It set the offense up for great field position. He had a near interception on the first possession of the game that forced a 3-and-out and ultimate punt. Shout out to Pepe, man. Out there balling. Got to give credit where it's due. In front of him, oh, my man, Cakes. My man, I ain't seen Cakes in a while. Oh, yeah, likely he's going to be the tight end, too. And, it's funny. We talked about the depth chart and the release, and we kind of mentioned that there's some players positioned because of their draft status and their tenure in the league and not necessarily their role in the upcoming season. And likely was a great example because people can tell me all they want that Nick Boyle's the number 2, and he might be on the depth chart all season listed as such. Likely he's going to play and make way more plays than Nick Boyle. And I love Nick Boyle. He's a great blocker. But likely will be a force to be reckoned with this coming season as a rookie. So, but shout out to Cakes Mitchell, man. It's been a while. It's nice to see and hear from you. And also wanted to talk about Malik Harrison because he had a bit of an up and down game, but he had certainly more of an up than a down, in my opinion. Had that great forced fumble early in the game that ultimately Hamilton ended up jumping on, but very physical. I thought he had a couple nice plays where he was just showing off that physicality and at the line of scrimmage, taking on blockers, but still making tackles. But he did have the one play, or I guess he had a couple plays where, he didn't have his best moments. He had a play where he was stiff-armed, which was surprising because of how big and strong he is. He got stiff-armed, allowed the runner to get probably an extra 8 to 10 yards down to the 5-yard line. That was kind of surprising to see him just shoved off. And then also Malik Willis on the touchdown did kind of juke inside Malik Harrison, although it was a tough spot for Malik. Overall, I think it was a better performance than I was expecting from Malik. So while he did have some plays I'm sure he'd like to have back, I thought he played pretty well. And that was impressive. Also on the defensive side of the ball, let's see. Hamilton, also another guy who had a bit of an up and down game. Again, had the recovered fumble. Also took a nice angle and cut Willis off from getting to the first down. Cut him short, forced a field goal. But he also had a missed tackle on a screen play that I thought, he dove, he made contact, but ultimately didn't pull the runner to the ground. And that's what you got to do, especially as a safety when you're kind of the last line defense. Now, he did get tackled later on down the field, but certainly gave about 10 to 15 yards additional with the missed tackle from Hamilton. Let's see. Any other notes? Let me see if there's anybody in the chat. Let's see. Touchdown was kind of embarrassing. Well, oh, yeah. So he also, Malik Willis did also spin off of Kyle Hamilton in the backfield, which is something Kyle Hamilton's going to have to learn from. It's not something that's the first time we've seen it. We've seen a lot where guys come in, they think they're coming in unnoticed, untouched, unblocked, and they get a little bit overzealous and don't keep their balance. And the quarterback made a nice play, also beat Steve Means to the edge on that play, and then before cutting back inside of Malik Harrison. So, that was just a fantastic play. Shout out to Malik Willis, first start ever, a guy who all of us were told needs more polishing, might be the most raw of the group, but has the highest ceiling. I thought he played well, considering, the atmosphere, the talent on the defensive side of the ball, how always well prepared the defense of the Ravens is in the preseason. Why, big reason why they're 21 straight games right now. Let's see. Wavy Winston says odds Pepe makes the team. Love the channel and super hyped for the season. 100% odds for Pepe. He was a draft pick this year, 4th round draft pick. He's not going anywhere. I don't expect any of the draft picks to not make the team. I think, there might be some discussion that some might say with Beatty, with the fact that, we're going to get into it, that I thought Justice Hill played a nice game. Obviously, Mike Davis had a nice game, and they still have J.K. Dobbins, who's now activated. They still got Gus coming back, and I thought Nate McCrary had a nice run, which, by the way, I think was part of Jimmy's game notes. Let's see, nice decisive run by Nate McCrary. So there's a lot in that backfield, but I think that Pepe 100% odds to make the team, and I'm excited about him, man. That dude, I just love watching him play. I can already tell that he's just going to be a fun guy to watch play. And if he can stay healthy at his size, he could be one of those spark plugs that really help kind of push the team forward. And also could fill in as a punt returner, and looks like he's already capable of kind of making an impact there. Patrick McGuire, I am all aboard the Shamar Bridges hype train. Let's bleeping go. Absolutely. DK, I think you have some stuff. Let's just jump right into Shamar Bridges. We got to get back to talking offensive side of the ball. The guy was an absolute stud. 4 catches, 62 yards, had the touchdown, had a 38-yard bomb. But here was the highlight reel of the day. I mean, come on. This is what we've been waiting for, Ravens fans. This is what's missing on the team. Absolutely. V single 60. Shamar. What a talent. No lie. This is what's missing on the outside, right, guys? I mean, you got Rashad Bateman, who's expected to be able to do some of this, but doesn't have the height of Shamar Bridges, certainly doesn't. And then behind him, Duvernay, not necessarily a guy that's looked to make a play like this. Prochet, smaller guy. Tylan Wallace, great contested catch and a catch maker in college, but at this level, he's facing bigger, stronger guys. This is a guy in Shamar Bridges that's big, strong, and most importantly, can high point a ball. This is what Miles Boykin should have been doing. This is what we hoped he would have been able to do. But as you can see, some people can high point a ball. It's a lot of that's just natural. Can you do it? Do you have just the instincts to just go up and the timing to get the ball at the highest point of attack where the defender can't make a play on it because he's just not big enough? And also he's just not, he's not playing the ball like you are. He's typically playing the defender. Fantastic play. I mean, just wow. And he had another play, the 38-yarder, that was maybe even more impressive. It just wasn't a touchdown. And so, man, and this is just that's just 2 of his fantastic catches tonight. Shout out to Shamar Bridges. Might have made the team, or at least might have put himself in the running to make the team. It's a crowded room, but The fifth spot seems to be wide open. And if they keep 6, that's certainly wide open. So, man, Shamar Bridges, go get that roster spot. I would love nothing more than to see him go take it. But also, got to give credit to some other guys in the pass catching room because, it wasn't just Likely and Bridges. Polk, fantastic out there. I mean, 6 catches, 43 yards on 8 targets. Guy made some tough catches. One of the targets, I think he could have had 7 on 8 targets. Kind of just threw one hand up on the slant route, which kind of confused as to why he only went at it with just the one hand. I think if he goes up with 2 hands, he makes that catch. And then we're talking over 50 yards and 7 catches. But overall, fantastic day for Mekhi Polk. Got to give credit where it's due. Benjamin Victor, a guy I talked about, I was hopeful for. He's been around the team for a long time, at least in general terms compared to his peers. 4 catches, 30 yards. Went up and got a 13-yard catch that was big time. But man, that competition is heating up, and that's getting really exciting. So yeah, keep an eye on that wide receiver room as it continues to kind of heat up in that competition. Also, let's get these guys back to practice and healthy as well. But yeah, Colin, you're talking about Justice Hill. We've been obviously critical of Justice Hill over the last couple of years, certainly when he was healthy, not last year when he was banged up, but I thought I saw a little something. The stats may not show it, 3 carries, 11 yards, but he had 2 first downs taken off the field by Isaiah Likely, which, certainly way more good than bad for Isaiah Likely, but all the good was in the receiving department and all the bad was in the blocking department. As Rod Woodson pointed out, got to clean up those holding penalties. And if you're going to hold, which most do on almost nearly every play, do it a little bit more tactfully. Get inside a little bit, as Rod Woodson was pointing out, not to the outside where it's quite so obvious. But that being said, Justice Hill had 2 nice runs taken off the board because of that. So the numbers don't really show it. 3 carries, 11 yards. But I saw something from Justice Hill that I hadn't seen. I saw the burst, the quicks to get to the edge, and he's running with a lot more power than I had seen. So just had to mention Justice Hill because we've been hard on him, but that's because we want to certainly be rooting for him to prove us wrong. I would love nothing more than get on here and rave about how any of the guys that we kind of criticize or wish we'd see a little bit more of. I'd love for them to prove me wrong, and I can get on here and rave about them. Tom Votto, Bridges, wide receiver 4 or 3, if continues to ball out, especially with Wallace being injured. Yeah. And I think that do you have something pulled up in the back for that, DK? Is that I see you have something going on back there. Prochet. Okay. All right. So he's talking about the Prochet injuries. Rebeck saying, oh, wow, that's pretty cool how you had it there. Harbaugh said that James Prochet has a soft tissue injury, said he'll be sidelined for a week or 2. So that gives an opportunity right there. I like how that is. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Bridges absolutely has an opportunity. And man, we talk about how being an athlete, so much of it is confidence. How you play is confidence. All these guys are talented. You're not even going to make the 90 man if you're not talented. But that confidence can sometimes be the difference between whether you make the roster or you get cut. And Bridges right now has got to be flying high, man. He's got to be flying high. But yeah, absolutely has a shot, Tom, at making it. It's certainly if he continues to make plays like this. Why not, right? Why not? Keep doing it. Let's see what you got. But yeah, also Tylan Wallace did get hurt. Tanja Bowman's pointing out. I just don't know the extent of it. It looks like it was I think I heard it was a knee injury, but again, haven't heard the extent of the injury. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, Tom, absolutely a chance for Bridges to climb. You just got to make plays, man. And these receivers are coming out more and more ready to make plays early than we've ever seen before. So it's not unlike a rookie to come out of virtually nowhere and make plays. So yeah, let's see what he's got. Defensive side of the ball, I want to point out a couple other guys that I had notes on. Darryl Worley, nice interception for the veteran, especially considering he was just signed on August 3rd. His news was kind of lost because that was the same day that J.K. Dobbins returned to practice and And I think that was the same day Justin Tucker signed his contract extension. So nobody saw that Worley was added in response to Vince Beagle's injury. And Worley came out, has the interception, was the team leader in tackles at 4. So while that wasn't a ton, he did have 4 tackles. There's the interception there. Appreciate it, DK, my man. But as you can see, pushes him to the sideline, makes a play on the ball. Not a good throw by the quarterback by any means. You got to get that ball a little bit more outside and get some air under it, give your guy a chance. But he made a play on the ball, and when given the opportunity, that's all you can do. Because we see a ton of opportunities given to guys, and they don't make the play. And then the opportunity doesn't present itself for a long time, and in some cases never. So got to give a credit there. And then also moving down, I thought Josh Ross, the rookie linebacker out of Michigan that Jimbo's been awfully high on, he had a thumping tackle on one of the tight ends, I believe, who caught a little short pattern right over the middle. And it didn't look like Ross had enough runway to lay that kind of lick on a guy, but he did. So it was impressive. Yeah, Jimmy points out, I'm going through some of Jimmy's notes because, of course, he's on a plane right now and can't speak for himself. So let's go through some of these. Stephen Means. Shout out to Stephen Means, man, the veteran who comes over and, in a kind of a not so flashy addition, but this guy, I mean, he's going to end up being, I think, a really, really nice offseason addition for this team. A veteran who he's just a solid player. Has a sack today and was really all over the field. So shout out to him on the defensive side of the ball. He also mentioned that, Faalele, you got to give, the guy is just absolutely monstrous. He gets the fantastic push. And Jimmy mentioned that him and Cleveland together had a nice push on the 4th down run from Huntley. And yeah, that's no doubt the case. But to me, I was disappointed in what I saw out of Ben Cleveland tonight. I saw him on the ground an awful lot. I didn't see a lot of athleticism from him moving. I was not impressed from him at all. So maybe you guys saw things differently, but I tell you what, I really hope that Tyree Phillips can stay healthy, because I would much rather see Tyree at left guard with his athleticism plus his size and strength and length. To me, they're not even on the same. They're not really on the same planet athletically. So I just saw Ben Cleveland on the ground too daggone much. I was like, dang. Get up off the ground, dude. Quit getting hurt. JL, I was raving about Juwan James earlier, man. Juwan James impressed the heck out of me. He made me feel a whole lot of about Ronnie Stanley and his situation, because if Ronnie is out, at least I have one glimpse as to what might not be a complete disaster at left tackle, which is kind of my fear heading into this season. And so, man, great. Still hoping to get Ronnie back. No doubt about it, because, I still think Juwan James would benefit from more time continuing to build strength and get himself more acclimated with the left side, considering he hasn't played that since high school. But nonetheless, extremely impressed with how he was playing. All right, so let's get into some more excuse me, defensive notes. Geno Stone, man. Okay, here we go. I appreciate it. So Harbaugh said Tylan Wallace has a minor knee sprain. Isn't sure how long he'll be out. So good news is, unless you guys see something I didn't see, knock it on wood, whatever other superstition you believe in, it looks like the Ravens escaped this one without any major injuries, which is, of course, number one in going into any preseason game for any coach or fan. So that is a win. But I want to get back to Geno Stone, because the guy just makes plays everywhere. I mean, you got to be impressed with this guy. He makes a nice interception after a ball was really broken up by I can't recall who broke it up and that caused the ability to have Stone jump on it. But nonetheless, he made the catch, secured the play, had a great tackle where he came just flying in to tackle the ball carrier on the left side behind the line of scrimmage, which just looked like a dart. I mean, this guy's play instincts are just impressive, man. And he always makes plays. And this isn't just like a guy who only makes plays in the preseason. We've seen him make plays in big-time games, big-time situations. So, man, this safety room, man, I don't know what the coach is going to do, because We also saw Tony Jefferson come up and absolutely stonewall a guy at the line of scrimmage, which was extremely impressive. I mean, it was the safety room is nothing but talented guys. And look, it says Jonas Schaefer tweeted out, Geno Stone has told the Ravens defense he was going to get a pick. When he did, said he felt like the football gods were smiling on him. Certainly. Guy was everywhere, making plays absolutely everywhere. Raven Ron, Harrison calls that fumble. Yeah, Harrison calls it. Okay, so that was Josh Ross who tipped that ball. Well, wow. Josh Ross had a game then, in my opinion. Showed out. Anytime you're making your name said multiple times, even though I missed it on that tip, but I'm sure Sandusky didn't miss it. Which, oh, by the way, Jerry Sandusky kept calling him Juwan Jones. He kept calling Juwan James Juwan Jones. So while I'm really hopeful that Jerry was sincere in agreeing to come onto the show when we bumped into him in training camp, I might have to pull him aside. Be like, it's Juwan James, man. Yeah. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, Geno looked fantastic. Jefferson looked fantastic. I just don't know what they're gonna do with this safety position, because I hope they can trade a guy, because they're gonna end up having to cut a guy that is way too talented to just be cut. So, let's kind of see how that goes there. Oh, thank you, Cruddy. Thank you so much for bringing up Travis Jones, because I don't know how I almost forgot. The dude is an absolute animal. Travis Jones was he was just ultra impressive. The way he moves at his size, him and was it Crawford, I want to say, just absolutely stuffed a run play early. But then, yeah, Jones and Crawford absolutely stuffed a run play early. But then Jones also had he also was able to run down Malik Willis, I believe, and tackle him. Oh, man, but I'm losing my notes here. I told you I took way too many notes. I mean, it was getting out of hand here. Oh, there we go. Travis Jones sacks Willis, and Dalen Hayes helps finish the play. So they may have ultimately gave Travis Jones a half a sack and Dalen the other half, but Travis didn't need no help. He wasn't going nowhere. So yeah, shout out to Travis Jones, the effort, the want to, and Malik Vinny. You're right. Michael Pierce did look explosive. I saw him early on, burst into the backfield, missed the play, and ultimately ended up being like a first down. But so you want to pull the guy down, you want to finish the play, but fantastic rush. And then later had another play where he just burst into the backfield. Man, this defensive front is going to be absolutely terrifying. It's just going to be scary for the offense here. Let's see. Hey, be single. It's Glenn with two ends, man. Glenn with two ends. But if it comes down to Bridges or Polk right now, while both had fantastic games, I'm going Bridges, just because of the fact that he made two highlight reel catches. So Polk had some nice plays, no doubt, but two legit, Moss level catches, and one of which was a touchdown. So yeah, got to give him the edge right now, but Polk is not far behind. So, yeah, Damon says that likely is who we wish Boykin was. I think Bridges might be who we wish Boykin was, and likely is he's similar to Hayden Hurst, but I would say Hayden Hurst has better top end speed, and it looks like likely has better wiggle, man, more athletic, more side to side elusiveness. So yeah, exactly. Jack, that's pretty good. But yeah, so fantastic night overall. If I'm the coaching staff, I'm absolutely elated. Not only did we come out of this game relatively unharmed, considering this was a football game, to come out with just the one injury to Tylan Wallace, which at least at this point is considered to be a relatively minor injury. That was impressive. I mean, that's an awesome, accomplishment that it really may be a credit to, all the guys taking care of their bodies, of course, the training staff, and of course, the coaches making these different changes, these drastic changes to their practice schedule. It looks, at least to this point, like it's starting to pay off. But again, knocking on some wood, doing whatever else, superstitions you got to believe into. But yeah, I think unless there's anything else that you guys got here. I think that's what do you got here? It looks like DK, you got something to throw up in the back here. Tylan Wallace could miss some time with knee sprain. James Prochet could miss a few weeks with soft tissue injury. And then undrafted free agent wide receiver Slade Bolden and Bailey Gaither dealing with injuries and didn't play tonight. It's surprising Ravens haven't added veteran wide receiver. They may have no choice now. Okay, so things could be getting interesting, at the wide receiver position. But definitely no doubt that Bridges and Polk are making a huge push for this roster. And same with Benjamin Victor. I don't want to overlook what he did and his accomplishments tonight. Thought he played well. But, yeah, it looks like they, at the very least, are going to have to bring in some bodies because who's practicing? If Bolden's out, Bailey Gaither's out, Wallace, Prochet, they're going to need some bodies. So, even if they don't bring in a veteran who they expect to actually compete for a roster spot, if these guys, all these guys' injuries are relatively minor and they're expected to return, then you at least got to bring them in just for the workload, and you don't want to, run guys into the ground. So, this is going to be an interesting one. But all those who are thinking Odell isn't going to do nothing to help him now. He's still coming back from the injury, so it would have to be a guy who's ready to play yesterday. It looks like. So yeah, let's see what happens. But look, that's it for me tonight. But we won't be gone long, guys. I just wanted to get on and get something out there. That way you guys kind of heard our thoughts. Shout out to DK in the background for jumping on with me this late. Appreciate you hanging in there with me. It's comforting even having just DK in the background than being completely here alone. But thanks most importantly to all of you guys who came out and watched the show. Shout out to all you Ravens fans out there. I'm going to get a couple shout outs. Purple and Black, have a good night. JL, appreciate you coming out. Will Alton, yes, we do need Linderbaum. Let's get him back out there. Travis says the truth. Yeah, I like the young guys too. Raven Ron, appreciate you coming out. Tom, the audio designer. Kind of surprised we didn't see more of Corey Clement. Surprising. That's pretty much all I can say about that. Yes, Tanja stayed healthy. Absolutely. Edwin. Yeah, Anthony Brown was killing it. Yeah, no doubt. Shocking. Undrafted rookie. Bounced around in college and coming out there putting dimes. Hundley, too. Brett Hundley had a dime on the right sideline down the field to Raleigh Webb, who came out of absolutely nowhere to make that fantastic catch. J-Dub, appreciate the comments and continued support. Damon Mitchum, football is back. Yes, it is. Can't wait. Everyone else who came out, appreciate you coming. Appreciate the continued support. We will be back soon and can't wait. Have a good night.